And then you're going to kick it off with Ben.
Yeah, I'll do the Ben intro.
Cool.
Yep. Y'all. Oh, I just got a Facebook reminder about it. Oh, that's the live thing. Never mind. Yeah.
Chill.
Oh, we can share, though. Once it's live, we can share through.
Oh, yeah. Let's do that.
David joined. Dad.
Hello, David.
Check, 1, 2.
All right, let me share you. Share. Okay, I got it.
Everyone.
Oh, there we are. Look, Piper. We're live. 2 viewers. 1 share. All right.
Wait, why isn't it showing me?
Share. Right post.
I'm a weirdo.
Share.
No cotton mouth.
Your timeline. Paste. Post.
My ears hurt.
Paste and post.
Posted, pasted.
Pasted and post.
Pasted and post.
Do you have extra?
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
You're sugar free.
2 minutes.
Lisa Smith says, "Hi, Piper, Travis, Joe, and everyone."
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
5 viewers. Oh my gosh. It's already the highest watched Epic Love show ever. No,
The pressure is
we've done
on.
pretty good.
Daddy, where's the camera? Like that.
Camera's right there, so you can wave.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
There you go.
Yeah, so you can see where you are and wave to the camera again.
Hi.
Watch, it's got a little delay, but
Yeah, it's
Ready?
like 10 seconds.
you'll turn
10
and wave.
seconds? Really? That long?
Of a delay. Yeah.
Oh, or just put the candy in my mouth, so there you go. Oh, there we go. It's funny, right?
You guys
We
disappeared
can
at the
watch this one
concert.
together. You
Yeah,
want to like
this is from that concert.
Oh, wait, sorry.
I felt so.
We went off on a mission.
Yeah, we went on a little rampage with the
Cynthia
drinks,
Mitchell. Hello.
and then I decided on the way to the car
You
I
can
was going to
type
put on
if
a dance
you
routine
want.
for Brantley, and I fell on a curb. And
Oh my gosh.
here, it was bad. Like, this is a lot of makeup going on and stuff. I was so embarrassed.
Story?
Yeah, so me and Joe
She,
had a
like,
little
fell
fun
on
at
a
Kenny
curb.
Chesney, and we left the concert. We were walking out to the car, and I decided to put on a dance routine for Brantley, and I fell over a curb and fell on my
Oh
face.
my gosh.
So
I
my
just
shoulder
noticed
is
that.
scraped up, my leg is scraped up.
Wow.
Yeah, I was extremely embarrassed the next
Is that
day.
the Where's Blair? Like face down? Is that
Like,
the inspirational pose?
the more the longer I'm on the show, the more it's fitting that title.
Right.
Literally.
Affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for
You're
any
hearing
show
the same
programs,
thing that
services,
we
or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for
Yeah.
choosing W4CY Radio.
You.
Ready?
Ready.
Good evening, Epic lovers out there in the universe, worldwide. Welcome to the 11th episode of the Epic Love Radio Show, brought to you by the Piper's Angels Foundation and our supporting sponsors, Palm Beach Sports Club, T-Lixer Kombucha, Cheers, Legacy Marine, and Endless Summer Rum. My name is Travis Suit, and I'm here with my amazing co-host. We got Mr. Joe Mitchell on the left over here, ladies and gentlemen. Yay. Very nice. Miss Blair McKnight. The one and only Liz Merson.
What's up?
Hey! There we go. And our special co-host this evening, ladies and gentlemen, Piper. She just goes by one name, like Madonna's. Piper. That's it. And we're here on this journey, as always, sharing inspiring stories of love through action. And folks, you will not want to go anywhere this evening because we have an amazing on-air guest with us, and it's going to be an awesome interview, and we're looking forward to it. Mr. Ben Mudge, a.k.a. Thor, dun, 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 is joining us this evening, and I know so many people are excited. We got so many text messages and emails. This is definitely a very special episode on the Epic Love Radio Show. And today's the day for Epic Love, so here we go. And we're going to kick it off with the one and only Cup of Joe.
Yeah, let's get the Cup of Joe brewing right now. So, really wanted to talk about the difference between motivation and inspiration, because the guest that we're having on, Ben, is just amazingly inspiring and motivates me on a daily basis to do the best that I can to take care of myself. And it's just been awesome to get to know his story and everything like that, but we'll get to all that in the interview. So what is really the definition between motivation and inspiration? And I could have gone to, the dictionary or something like that and just read it, but I wanted to think about it. So I took yesterday for quite a while and just really thought about it, like, what motivates me, what inspires me, and what are the differences between those two things? So for me, motivation is something that you'll hear or you'll see. It might be one of those motivational posters or a YouTube video or something like that. And it really it gets you off of the couch, as I like to say, and out into the world to do something. But that's kind of where it ends for me. Like, motivation will get me to do something in the spur of the moment, and then the effect kind of just drifts away after a while. But when it comes to being inspired, that is something that can last a lifetime. And you can be inspired by so many different things. It can be a person, it can be a story, it can be music, it can be literally anything. And it is inspiration that will keep you going through the hard times. It will keep you going when you go to your doctor and you do your breathing test and your numbers are not that great, and you have to go into the hospital for 2 weeks, and you're like, man, this really stinks, and this is a bump in the road. But, fighting back from those setbacks, you need both inspiration and motivation, because on a daily basis, you need to be able to do the difficult things, because that's really what life comes down to, is doing the difficult things so that you have the time and the ability to do the fun things that you really, really want to do. So that's just kind of what I've been thinking about over the weekend, Memorial Day, thinking about all of the, the soldiers and people that are out here to support our country and everything like that. And really, obviously they're a huge inspiration because they're laying their life on the line for all of us. And so that's really all I've been thinking about all weekend. And it's been, a wet weekend for us down here in Florida, but it has been a lot of fun too. It's been a really great weekend for me. So, we're just going to kick it over to Blair now and hear about another type of superhero.
See where I am this
Where
week?
is
Because you
Blair?
never know. So, like you were saying, Joe, thank you for my cup of Joe, by the way. Today is Memorial Day, which we celebrate to honor the memories of those who have died in active military service, protecting our country. And we have Ben Mudge on the show today, and he acts as a superhero, real-life superhero, to inspire the CF community. And I also see a few superheroes around me in the CF community as well. But it was perfect, because when I think of soldiers, I think of superheroes. And I read a story about another real-life superhero over the weekend, and that is 4-year-old Austin Pirine out of Birmingham, Alabama. And his superhero name is President Austin, and his superpower is feeding the homeless. So he has requested that his parents take his allowance and any money that has been spent on toys, and he wants that money to go towards feeding the homeless every week. So what he does once a week, he gets chicken sandwiches from Burger King, and he puts on a cape and a t-shirt with the hashtag Show Love on it, and he goes out and refers to himself as President Austin, and he passes out these chicken sandwiches to the homeless. So it's grown from there. So with each chicken sandwich he passes out, he says, don't forget to show love. Each one. And I was watching the video, and it was really, really inspiring. So he's warming the hearts and bringing hope to the homeless, and has started a GoFundMe page. And it has raised $56,000 towards his $65,000 goal so far. And just recently, there was a new homeless shelter that opened up in Birmingham, and he was the first donation, and he donated $5,000 to that homeless shelter.
Wow.
So it's just growing and spreading from there. And he's only four years old. So
What?
he's 4.
Yeah.
He's 4. And he
That's-
literally learned about homelessness from running away from home. And his dad took the opportunity to teach him about homelessness. And so it was awesome. And he basically said, I want to go see homeless people. He went and saw them and said, how can I help? And then he started passing out the chicken sandwiches ever since.
Man,
Isn't that awesome?
that's incredible.
So he is eligible to run for president in 2052. So we need to keep an ear out
All
for
right,
this
I'm gonna
guy.
write that down.
Yeah, put that down.
2052.
But I have a
It's got my
feeling
vote.
between now and then he's going to be spreading a lot of love through action. So we'll wait on his presidential nomination.
Austin Pirine, is that
You pronounce it Pirine,
Pirine? And where is he
Pirine.
based out of?
Birmingham, Alabama.
Wow,
President Austin.
President Austin.
Sounds good.
we got to get him on the
I
show.
like that.
I agree. I thought the same thing. I think I'm going to reach out to him.
And we're
see.
totally going to adopt his hashtag too. We're adding it to the
Totally.
hashtag pile. We
Show
got
love.
Halo effect, hashtag show love. We're adding hashtags all
Yeah.
the time.
It was really heartwarming. I loved watching it.
That's
Great
really
about it.
incredible for him to be consciously aware at that
Unreal.
early of an age. And also, great leadership by the folks there to
Yes, taking that opportunity to teach him. About
a
that.
teaching.
Good parenting 101.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
They call those teaching moments.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
Nice.
I think, for, just interacting with children and everything like that, I think they might be a little more consciously aware than most adults, honestly.
Oh, I agree. Their mind is just so much more open. It's not tainted with all that stuff, as you get older. It's just very open and honest and innocent almost, and you just want to help, I think. So I definitely see that in him. So speaking of another superhero, we have a very special in-studio guest today by the name of Piper, and we are going to check in with Piper. We got some questions for her, I believe, set up here. Piper?
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good. So we are checking in with you today. So what's going on with you? You're fresh out of school. You're on your Memorial Day break. You're out of school now permanently for the summer?
Yep.
Awesome.
Just got out of school.
Good for you. I love it. It's good stuff.
Piper, what are you looking forward to most this summer?
Probably Sanibel, because it's just really fun to hang out with my family and go to the pool and the beach.
It's a family tradition. It could be, in this case, it's actually not forced family fun, as they like to say. This is it's real family fun. And our family has been visiting Sanibel every summer for the same week since the 70s. So I literally grew up there once a year for a week. And it's a really special place. If you've never been to Sanibel Island, it's on the west coast of Florida. 60% of the island is conserved, so you see a ton of wildlife, birds. It's one of the most populated areas in the world for dolphin, for porpoise dolphin, and you got the famous Sanibel Lighthouse there. It's really an incredible place, and we've gotten to spend quite a bit of great family time there. So I'm looking forward to it as well. You're going to be able to use your flying fish board, your new flying fish paddle board, to paddle with the dolphins and the manatees.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
That's awesome. What else are you planning on doing this summer? Do you have any other things planned?
We have the crossing. Obviously, that'll be fun to go back to the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
We have the wedding that's in the fall, and I get to go out to California. So
Whose
that'll
wedding?
be, my dad's and Lynn's.
Aww.
She's excited about that. That's cute. I love
Thanks
that.
for the wedding shout out.
Yeah, good shout out.
Yeah. So what do you enjoy about the Bahamas? Because it's 16 days away. We leave for the Bahamas.
Wow.
And the crossing for a cure, many of you who are a part of the Piper's Angels family know very well. But for those who don't know about it, so we're taking a big fleet of people over there. We've got over 100 paddlers this year. We got 150 people going to the Bahamas, and we're going to paddle back on Father's Day weekend. So Piper, in Bimini, where we go, what do you enjoy about it? What's beautiful to you? What do you enjoy about the experience?
Probably the most thing I enjoy about it is the water, like how clear it is. And you can see everything on the bottom, like a bunch of starfish and fish.
You love the bugs too, right? No.
Yeah, love those bugs.
They're pretty gnarly in the Bahamas because they don't really spray that much for them, but still pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you also have Piper is a competitive cheerleader and a champion cheerleader at that. And you've got a new team that you've joined, and you're going to be kicking off. You're going to have you've already been through the tryouts, you've made your team, and then you have your choreography coming up.
Yeah, so I decided to go to a new cheer gym and, just explore new opportunities. So, yeah. And we have choreography coming up, so I'm excited to see, what a new routine would be in a different gym, like a different style of cheering.
And you're a pretty good choreographer, huh? Yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, I witnessed that firsthand yesterday. Piper was the ringleader of, 5 girls? 6 girls? 5 girls? 7 girls, and taught them all different routines and had lots of fun throughout the day, it looked like.
Yeah.
Born a leader. It's awesome.
Yeah, leading the pack on that. We recently wrote a song together. It was a bit of a funny song,
Yeah.
but
Definitely had some inspiration.
oh yeah, the title of the song. You want to tell them the title of the song?
Yeah, so the title of the song is titled Leaky Garbage Juice.
Leaky Garbage Juice, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be the newest viral video coming soon to you. Yeah, you want to throw out the chorus?
Okay, so the chorus is, when I'm feeling wild and on the loose, all I want to drink some leaky garbage juice.
Boom,
Oh,
boom, and then
And
yeah.
then our names is he's LGJ and I'm Mini Drip.
Yeah.
Mini
Oh,
drip?
God.
Yeah,
Drip?
yeah. It was a story about taking out the trash,
Like
and
dripping
Yeah.
leaky garbage
yeah, there was
Yeah,
unfortunately
yeah.
some leaky
I
garbage
got it.
juice dripping out, and Piper choreographed the entire song, music video, everything.
Wow.
She's got some great dance moves to the hook, drip, 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 drip. So, well, that'll be coming soon, obviously.
And we
love it.
did come up with we were coming up with a new song.
Oh.
Yeah. That one was titled Fart Bubble Water. So,
I'm seeing a trend here in
Yeah.
your guys'
We were trying to keep the
songs.
liquid theme, like the fluidity, and stuff that everybody could relate to, at some point in your life,
right, exactly. We've all been there with
Yeah.
the leaky garbage juice. Oh,
So,
man.
lyrics and music video coming soon.
yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. Any final thoughts for everybody listening out there for their summer and plans ahead?
Just have fun.
Have fun.
Good advice.
Very nice. Hashtag have fun. And show love.
Yeah, show love, please. And I think we have our guest online, Ben Mudge. He's ready. So I just want to introduce him a little bit. So he's from the United Kingdom, and Ben is a personal trainer. He's an online coach, and he's an overall health and fitness lover. And he is using health, fitness, and nutrition to fight cystic fibrosis. He is also transformed into a real-life superhero for children in the cystic fibrosis community with his remarkable resemblance to the superhero character Thor. And Ben, this is Blair McKnight. You're on the Epic Love Radio Show. How are you? I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for being with us this evening. We're very excited to have you.
Thank you very much for having me.
No problem at all. So I was doing some research on you, Ben, and we want to go way back to the beginning here of kind of your personal fitness journey. And in the article I was reading about how you used to be an assistant director on the TV show Game of Thrones, and that's when you had your first major lung infection. Is that true?
That's correct, yes.
All right. Yeah, tell us a little bit more about that and how that led you to where you are today.
So growing up, I wanted to be a film director. So I've studied film and media for 4 years, and then that landed me with that job on the first season of Game of Thrones. At the time, no one knew what it was. Didn't know any of the actors apart from Sean Bean, who played Boromir, and that was it. I was lucky enough to get on that. But it was upon getting onto that show, I realized that maybe it wasn't the career for me, which is a pretty hard pill to swallow when you spent 4 years of your life dedicating it to get into this position, and then finding out once you've got it, it's not what you want. And there was a conversation with one of the extras, who was a Dothraki, who's like, he's a big guy, and he said to me, you look like you're really not enjoying this. Have you thought about what else you would maybe consider doing? He said, what else do you like doing? And I said, well, I like training. He's like, yeah, you look like you're in good shape. Have you ever considered being a personal trainer? And I, to be honest, never thought of it before. I knew that I liked training, but never really thought about helping anyone else. But then when he said it, that's all I could think of. And then that's basically how it all started.
Wow, so that was meant to be then.
Definitely, yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about your experience with that lung infection and kind of how that influenced you even more with your personal training.
So the first lung infection I got knocked my lung function from 100% to 66. That's like, it was a massive shock to my system. Usually, never really having a problem with my breathing, having the odd cough, but never anything out of the ordinary compared to my friends. And that's how I would kind of measure everything else. So that scared me. Simple act of running up my parents' stairs, where I lived at the time. I lived on the top floor of my parents' house, and I would run up it every day without even breaking a sweat. And then I remember one day running up to the top and having to stop and catch my breath, and thought, well, that's strange. That landed me in hospital. Was on IVs for 2 weeks. Got out, didn't feel any better. After about a week, then they put me back in and did another course of IVs for another 2 weeks. That was a month of my life in hospital, which again, up until that point, had never happened to me. Again, touch wood, I was very, very grateful. Very lucky to be in that position where I had never been in for that long or in for a lung infection at all. So yeah, it gave me they basically said to me when I was in, your lung functions may stay at this. In fact, there's a good chance they will stay at this. And I remember thinking they won't. I just remember they said that to me, and I was like, well, I feel bad right now, and I know I can feel better, so I know you're wrong. And that's pretty much how it kind of all started. I was just like, right, well, I'm going to now prove to you that I can get them back up again, and worked my way on it. It took me about a year to do it, but I did it.
Yeah, I know that this is Travis. Hey, Ben, thank you so much for being on the show. We got Joe here in the studio who has CF, and Piper has CF as well. And I know that that's something we talk about a lot, is just that belief, what people may say or tell you about, anything you're facing as a challenge in life, and how it really, if you believe what others are saying, then you've stripped yourself of that empowerment.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, your limitations are only the ones you set on yourself, really. If people say you can't do anything, that's them setting their limitations on you, which I've always believed. But yeah, I just knew it was just. It's like when someone's telling you something that you already know the answer to, and they're telling you it's a different answer, and you're kind of like, yeah, but at the same time in your head you're going, nah, you're wrong.
Yeah,
absolutely. So now you have benmudge.com. Now, is that where you run all of your personal fitness training out of?
Yeah, I do the occasional one-to-one, and just with some of my clients who I've had for years. And then I take some of my clients who are online who are able to get to me. I take them for one-to-one sessions as well.
Okay. So what kind of approach do you take to your personal and online training?
I just like to keep things simple. I think fitness is so overcomplicated, and the reason for that is because of marketing. And it's so easy to say, oh, these are the top 5 secrets of how to build muscle, whereas realistically, there's no secrets at all. In fact, that's the question I get asked the most: what's your secret? What's your secret? There isn't a secret. There's no magic formula. There's no magic pill. There's nothing. It's just dedication, hard work, and patience. That's it. But that's hard to sell.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And Joe is also the director of health and wellness for the Piper's Angels Foundation, and he's a big believer in that nutrition can improve, your condition with the cystic fibrosis and your lung function, and I know you feel that same way as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my approach is that if you look after your gut, your immune system and your gut are one. So if your gut's healthy, your immune system's strong. If your immune system's strong, the chance of you getting a chest infection or getting sick is massively reduced. So I just look after my gut, and that's what I have been doing for 28 years.
Ben, I have a question for you. I'm Liz. So I'm just have a few questions. I actually work in the fitness industry as director of business development for a fairly large company here in the States. And I just wanted to know, I mean, I'm always going around the same question. What impact can we make as a fitness company? What impact can I make as the head of business development for that company? And when I think about impacts, I don't mean just revenue or how much we're bringing in, but what impact can I make on a deeper level? And I'm just wondering what motivates you. Is it, obviously your health and well-being and others in mind as well, but is there something deeper that really you want to leave your impact on?
I think I always believed growing up that this is going to sound really deep, but I always felt like I was different, and that it's probably because of my CF. It was me just not understanding it. And that kind of gave me this idea that I felt like I was different, and that felt like I was meant to do something, or like I was meant to be someone or something along those lines. But again, I think it was probably just my CF manifesting myself, making me feel that way. But the one thing I want to do with my life is improve others by just me doing what I deem is necessary, which is why all this is so strange to me, because I don't see myself really honestly doing anything special. I'm just doing what I deem is necessary. So to me, I always use the comparison of brushing your teeth in the morning.
Right.
To me, people being like, you're doing so well, congratulations, you're an inspiration. It's like me saying that to somebody who brushes their teeth in the morning. You're supposed to do it. You have to do it. So it's a weird comparison to make, but to me, there's no other option for me to do to do anything else other than what I'm doing. So I just have to look after myself, because take away cystic fibrosis, you need to be looking after yourself, because you want to live a fun life, you want to live a healthy life, and you want to be a happy person. That's my goal, just to be as happy as I can be. And if I want to make an impact on other people's lives, like that's where the whole Thor thing comes in, and I'm starting to realize I am making an impact. Small things that I didn't ever think would have an impact are not having an impact, like me taking my nebulizers, me doing my pet mask, or making kids do their nebulizers and do the pet masks. So that's kind of it's not evolved from what I thought it was to now this. I want to help people and make people's lives a little bit easier.
Right. Right. Do you notice that maybe the same things that you do for your personal training clients, do you notice the impact is different on those with CF rather than those without CF?
Yeah, I mean, obviously people with cystic fibrosis, they're obviously much more in tune with their health than the average Joe. They have this kind of approach to it, which not everyone has. Like, they're very precious about it, and they think about things a lot more. It's just because you're brought up with this illness in the back of your mind, so they appreciate the little things a lot more. So they're like, just feeling better in the morning, feeling not as tired, increases in their lung function, increases in their weight, all these things that they were told that they couldn't do, and then they're now doing it. That's the kind of big change I see, or the big difference between the normal, again, I'm air quoting, you can't see, but normal people and people with cystic fibrosis.
And what ratio do you think? Do you have both types of clients, as far as people that reach out to you for personal training, both people with CF and both people without, or more one or the other?
I think it's about 60-40 with CF. Again, the one thing I try to stress is the fact that I'm not a miracle worker. I am not here to cure CF. I'm not here to do, obviously you can't do that, but I'm not a medical practitioner, so all I can do is give you the advice that I've taken myself, and give you advice on what you should be doing. And again, the way I treat people with CF is pretty much the way I treat people without CF, because realistically we're not that much different. Obviously there's some things you have to think about, but most of the time those people who have CF are aware of it and they know what they need to do. So my advice is fairly similar to people without CF.
And we have just been, so inspired by you using the Thor character to communicate with children in the CF community. Where did that start, the whole Thor thing, and how long have you been doing that now?
That actually started with my wife and I went to go see the first Thor film in 2011, I think it was. Maybe even earlier than that. But at this point, we've been going out maybe for 2 years, 3 years, and she had never said anything about any other guy. And then Thor turns up in his shirtless scene, and she's like, "Oh, hello." I was like, "Hey, And then literally after we saw that film, the people we were with went, "Hey, you look a bit like him, actually." And I turned around and gave the smuggest grin to Janice, my wife, ever. And then people always said I looked a bit like Chris Hemsworth. And I never really took notice of it, but then it started happening again and again. This is like 5-6 years ago. And then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to grow my hair out because I've always wanted to know what I would look like with long hair. And then people started saying, "You look like Thor, you look like," and it just happened so much. And I was like, you know what, I'll just embrace this. I'll just go for it. You know, who wouldn't want to be a superhero?
Right, and you're actually also were a big fan of superheroes before you started being Thor, right?
Yes, you can imagine how like, my inner child is just loving the fact that my nickname is Thor.
Oh, I'm sure. So who was your favorite then growing up?
It's probably Spider-Man.
Okay.
Spider-Man, Batman, and everyone's favorite Superman. But then Thor, I learned about a lot later on because he's not exactly a well-known. He's obviously very well-known now because of the films, but in terms of the comics, he's not that well-known.
Yeah, right. So you FaceTime with children who have cystic fibrosis as the character Thor. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. How did that all get started?
I just thought CF is such a isolating illness. There must be a way that I can make these kids' day. And I thought, right, well, I can never meet them, unfortunately, but I can. I can meet them through the medium of FaceTime or WhatsApp call or whatever. And I just thought, what would it be like for me to receive a call from someone who's in it, who had something that I had and looked the way I wanted to look when I was a kid.
And what are some of the reactions you get?
Oh my word! Some of it's a variation. There's either ones that just freeze up completely. I had one that literally would not come out from behind his hands. Like showing his arm muscles to get his hands pulled away from his face. And then there's ones that are so eloquent that just can converse with me so well and so confidently, and they tell me all about their day. And in it always ends up them running and showing me all their toys, all their action figures, and all their store. Some show me all the hammers because now they think that now Thor has CF. So now so I'm waiting for Marvel to just give me some kickbacks because this Thor must be going for the roof now.
I'm sure. I don't blame you at all there. That's awesome though. That kids see you like that and just, they just have to be so inspired by that. So good job there. You're doing such a great thing.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Yeah, there's definitely something deeper there that you touched on, which is really fascinating to me in kind of the collective consciousness. And one thing that in my own personal life, when Piper was diagnosed, she was 4. When were you diagnosed? How old were you, Ben?
3 days.
Okay, so early on. So yeah, and that experience, for me, it was a great paradigm shift in my life. I was in a for-profit world, producing events and marketing and sales, and it really shifted me into, well, how can I help, and in what ways, and how can we apply ourselves? And after years of getting to know the CF community and other parents and patients, it became pretty obvious that there were ways to help, and there were great ways to help because the life expectancy has been enhanced and extended so much. And the focus, as you're doing on quality of life, that Q factor was so huge. And for me as a dad, I've had people ask me the same question, or say the same kind of thing. Whereas, with the Crossing for a Cure, which is a major annual paddle challenge we do from the Bahamas to Florida, we started the first year, we had 4 guys paddling and a couple boats, and it was just a fundraiser and a way to generate awareness about the connection of salt to CF. And over time, this year we have over 100 paddlers. It's a major event. And people, they ask, about that and kind of that factor of why we do it. And it really, for me, it's so easy in the sense of, like you said, and I love what you said about it just being deemed necessary. That if you're walking by somebody on the street and they're hurt and they're reaching up to you for help, and you're the closest person to them, you're going to help them. I mean, that would naturally be your, as a human being, as a compassionate person, you're going to reach out your hand to help pick them up or get them help. And that's the way I felt and we felt as a family in the CF community. Here we have people who, like you said, it can be an isolating disease, and we related to them, and so it was just a natural way to extend a hand and be a shoulder to lean on. And it's interesting how it can take a heart attack, or it can take a devastating diagnosis, or something that shifts that paradigm for people it shifts it from an unconscious, unaware state of living where there is no necessary choice they have to make to be healthy or to live stronger or to inspire. And all of a sudden that shift takes place, and their awareness is now on what is necessary, and that drives people. And that factor is so huge. And I think that's where, like Joe brought up at the beginning of this episode, inspiration and what that means to people. And I think that's what, you're doing so well, is you've taken that shift, and you're not just doing it for yourself, but you're going 100% with it. And it's truly honorable, and it's amazing.
Thank you so much. It means a lot.
And you inspired a hashtag. So Joe, if you don't, so Joe is his segment on the show is Cup of Joe. And so when you said, no average Joe out there, I thought, well, Joe is not an average Joe. And then I thought, you got to start hashtag no average Joe.
Yeah.
It's definitely a good idea.
Not your average.
Definitely a good idea. Yeah, Ben, this is Joe. Thanks a lot for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. And, going back to a few things that you're talking on, obviously I'm huge into nutrition because being a chef and, obviously having a conscious shift on my own about my own diet about a year ago. Yeah, the huge connection between your gut microbiome and how you feel in your immune system, it's real. And I'm literally living proof of it. Ever since I've changed my diet, I've been able to remain without any lung infections for over a year, which is pretty amazing. So I wanted to ask you more specifically, as far as what do you focus on with your nutrition? Obviously, you spend a lot of time in that world, but is there anything that you might be able to throw out there to the people with CF that might be listening to how to focus in on nutrition?
Yeah. So your gut is basically, you want to work with your gut. So foods that break down very easily are going to be easily broken down within the gut. So the best thing I can say is food that rots quickly. So if you think about it, right, leave some food out, does it rot quickly? If it does, that's going to be breaking down your gut extra fast, because what's happening is that food is rotting. It's actually digesting itself. So that's got digestive enzymes present within it. Everyone's seen that McDonald's burger where they've left the McDonald's burger out for a month and it hasn't changed. That's because they've pretty much taken all the basically stuff that's full of preservatives. So they remove all that stuff, so it's got a longer shelf life. So when it gets into your gut has to work extra hard to break that down. Whereas something that's already got all those digestive enzymes present within it. So let's say fruit, vegetables, meats, fishes, yogurt, anything that goes off quickly, it's already in the process of breaking down. So your gut's going to have a much, much easier job. And your job is also to kind of remove the stress in your gut. Because if your gut's stressed, you're going to get sore stomachs. It's going to push through partially undigested food. Going to cause you a whole nightmare. So try to focus. It sounds really simple, but focus on foods that rot quickly. That should be the majority of the foods you consume.
Yeah, that's amazing. I've never heard it put that way, but that totally makes sense. It's part of my job as the director of health and wellness is coming up with a nutrition program based around kind of just that. We wanted to start a hashtag calling #NoLabels. So that fits in perfectly with your foods that rot quickly, because fresh produce and fruits and meats and cheeses and all of that stuff, maybe not so much cheeses because of the dairy effect in CF, but all of those other things that rot quickly, they traditionally don't have many labels. And the only label that says it's oh yeah, that's broccoli. Oh yeah, that's carrots. There's no ingredient list basically.
Exactly, yeah. The less hands that touch it, the better.
Ben, do you drink kombucha?
No, is that the?
It's fermented tea.
Yeah, no. I'm not a hot drinks fan. Probably the only thing I drink is water.
Because we have a sponsor on the show here, and it's a kombucha, and it's actually a cold fermented tea company, and it has probiotics in it, and it basically helps break down the food in your gut.
Yeah, I think probiotics.
Yeah.
I'd say probiotics just in a capsule form. Also, just a really quick tip, which is I always find really helpful. If anyone with cystic fibrosis is ever traveling, I've been doing a lot of traveling recently. I've been to South Korea. I was in Spain, all within a very close time period as well. Obviously, being on a plane, that was the first time I got a chest infection on a flight over to Florida, which is the first time I ever got sick. Double up your dosage of probiotics. So if you take 2 tablets, take 4 tablets, and do that about a week before you travel, and then do it whilst you're traveling as well. I did that. I came back fine after 2 11-hour flights, and going to a city that was very, very bad with air pollution as well. So just a little quick tip.
Yeah, that's really great. Have you ever thought about doing any N-acetylcysteine supplementation? Because I've been doing that for quite a while now, and that's really helped my immune system stay on tip-top shape.
I don't know. You'll have to actually send me that. I haven't heard of that.
Okay, yeah. Basically,
this is so good because I hear all these little tips and stuff. So yeah, if you could send me a link after this is done, that'd be great.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's just a little fizzy effervescent drink that you drink twice a day, and it actually goes into your bone marrow and transforms itself into glutathione, which is one of the most powerful antioxidants known into the world, which then goes out systemically into your body and calms down your white blood cells basically and makes them not freak out as much because you're constantly fighting off infections. And I've seen some pretty remarkable results within myself. Just like I'll drink this stuff and literally like an hour later, I'll cough up a whole bunch of stuff. And it's like purging my system almost.
Wow.
Yeah, please drop me what that is because that'd be fantastic. Thank you.
Definitely. We got a question from our Facebook Live from one of my friends. Do you have any recommendations for a particular brand of probiotics?
No, not necessarily, because obviously there's going to be a lot of different brands from wherever you're from. I take BioCult, which is a fairly cheap one, but I mean it's got the right amount of probiotics within it. I think you're looking for like anything that has about 10 million. Or 10 billion, I can't remember which one it is. It's either 10 million or 10 billion active flora in it. Anything less than that, you'd have to take a lot of them. So you want to be looking for the number on the capsules, on the boxes.
Okay, great. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
We'll also send you a 6-pack of T-Lixer so you can give it a shot here. Yeah. It's pretty good. It's great for the boat, the beach, and the bar days on the boat when it's sunny out and it's hot. So we do a lot of paddling in the salt water down here, and it's super refreshing because it comes in a can, so you can crack it open. It works out well. It's a good substitute, obviously, for people if they're drinking soda or anything they want that's bubbly and tasty. Have you ever done any stand-up paddleboarding?
I have, yeah. I actually did it for the first time last year when we were in Florida, believe it or not. My family and I go to, my mum and dad are now retired, so they go to Florida twice a year. But we, generally speaking, try to go as an entire family every year, every 2 years. Last year was myself, my wife, my brother, his wife, their new son, my sister, my mum, and my dad. So it's the entire Mudge clan.
Is there a part of Florida you usually go to?
It's about 2 hours south of Orlando. My grandfather used to live in Punta Gorda.
Okay.
He lived there up until he had there was some immigration change, and he had to then fly home to England, and then actually on that flight home he suffered a brain hemorrhage and he passed away. So we then had to go over sort out all his stuff in Florida, and then we kind of liked the area, and my mum and dad have been going back ever since. Paddleboarding, I absolutely loved it. It was incredible.
It's definitely a good way to get out on the water. That's how when we found out after Piper's diagnosis, and we had asked the doctors, what activities would be best for her, and they said, there's some published medical evidence that suggests that being in and around salt water in the salt environment can be really beneficial to the lungs because of the sodium chloride. That, I didn't know how to surf at the time, which is a great respiratory activity in salt water, but it can be really difficult to learn, especially for kids. And in Florida, it's unlike Costa Rica or Hawaii where you have predictable conditions.
Yeah.
And so I just started throwing Piper on the front of the board, and it was a lot of fun because we'd go out and she could sit on the front of the board and she would pick stuff out of the water and tell some fairy tales, and she had quite an imagination when we were paddling around.
That's amazing. I absolutely loved it. I got if I could do it in Northern Ireland, I would. But the water's a little bit colder here than it is over there. You guys have unfortunately spoiled me in terms of water temperature because now I don't get in unless it's Florida temperature.
Yeah.
Just saying in our family now. Is it Florida temperature? Nah, I'm getting in.
Well, it's that I totally understand. I'm kind of a wuss when it comes to the cold, but Punta Gorda is actually, so that's on the west coast. We're down here on kind of the southeast, over on the Palm Beach County side, south of Jupiter. When we started the show, we were talking about our family vacation in Sanibel, and that's over on the west coast, just south of Punta Gorda. So the next time you guys come to Florida, I highly recommend, even if you do a day tripping it down to Sanibel and checking it out. It's a really, really cool spot. Great family spot, great beaches, great shelling. Very, very cool.
I think is that Sanibel Island?
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah, I think we'd be there.
Very nice.
So that definitely brings a bell. It's funny because I'm 28, but my parents drive everywhere when we're over there because it doesn't make sense for us to all get individual cars. So I kind of just get in the car and fall asleep and then arrive wherever my dad drives us. So Sanibel Island, though, we've definitely been there. It's amazing. I mean, anywhere in Florida is amazing when you come from Northern Ireland.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to visit Ireland sometime. That's definitely a bucket list trip.
I'll probably be myself. I'll probably be in the UK in the next few months, so we'll have to link up when I come over there.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, the good thing about the UK is it's tiny, so you can fly from one area to the other within an hour. If you're in England, you can fly to Northern Ireland in 50 minutes. So.
Cool. So we're coming to the end of our time with you, Ben, unfortunately, and we have a lot of people listening from the CF community out there, and you're obviously such an inspiration, and we all really love your words about treating your adversity as a sword, not a crutch, and I just wanted to see if you had any last words, any advice or words of wisdom that you'd like to share for anybody out there.
Yeah, it's something that I've it was almost a mistake that I said it, but it's kind of now become my quote, is that you need to give your CF or whatever you've got all the time it needs. So if that's taking your treatments, it's taking your tablets, it's resting, anything that you need to give it, you give it that time and make sure you do. And then everything else after that is your time. So give it all the time it needs and then nothing more.
Yeah. Great. And do you have I saw one of your posts on Facebook. Are you writing a book?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Finally. I was told that I need to write one, and to be honest, I avoided it for so long because, again, with that just being said, I give CF all the time it needs, and then I cut it off. I just say, right, that's it. I've given you all the time you need. I'm not feeding you anymore. I knew that writing a book, I would need to give it a lot more time, and I knew that it would potentially, take me some fairly dark places mentally, because I personally find the more I think about my CF, the more I dwell on it, the scarier it becomes. And your mind can spiral very quickly. So I avoided it because, to be honest, I was scared. I was scared of writing it because I knew it would have to go and I have to think about it a lot more. And then I spoke to someone and he just said, look, you're gonna have times where you're scared and you're gonna get quite emotional about this all, but think about it whenever someone gets that book and it potentially changes their life. Everything all those negative thoughts you had are just gonna be wiped away and it's all gonna be worth it. So that's what got me writing it.
That's awesome. Well, we all look forward to it, and definitely let us know when the time comes, you're ready to promote it and get the word out. We'll be happy to share it. And with the Piper's Angels community down here in South Florida and the Epic Love community all over the world.
Thank you so much, Doug. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for the advice, Ben.
No problem.
That's Piper.
How you doing, Piper?
Good.
Yeah, I was like, one of those girls' voices has changed a little. Thought you'd been taking helium over there. How are you, Piper?
Good.
Staying strong?
Yeah.
And did you know that Thor's also a female as well?
No.
Yeah. If you Google female Thor, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we'll have to look that up.
She is very, very strong as well. People really, really like her.
Awesome.
So there you go. You can take my mantle as well if you want. Get yourself a hammer.
Very nice. Well, thank you so much, Ben. From all of us here and everybody listening, we truly appreciate your words and inspiration.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thanks, Ben. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Wow. That was so nice of him, too. It was 11:15 when we started that interview in the UK.
Wow.
In the morning?
At night. No, at
No,
night.
at night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was really nice of him to come on and spend some time with us that late.
Oh man, we should have told him to make a wish for 11/11.
Oh. That's been a great idea.
Boom. The
Boom.
hammer drops
Yeah.
on the
Literally.
Epic Love radio show.
Literally.
I can't wait to Google female Thor.
I know.
Yes.
I'm gonna do it right now.
I'm doing it right
We're
now.
gonna post this on the
I'm
page.
doing it right
I'm
now.
doing it right.
Well, we're wrapping up our time here for the 11th episode of the Epic Love radio show. We're getting ready to land the plane, and what an awesome episode to have such an inspirational gentleman. Oh, there she is.
Yeah.
Female Thor.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Well, I know who I'm going to be
Whoa.
for Halloween.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh, I love that.
You have her hair, so.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah,
whoa.
I'm good.
Oh,
That's
boy.
great.
Yeah.
Do we have any calls to action this week?
Calls to action. You know, it would be really cool if the call to action, so every week we do our love letter, and we've been having some good traction with it and good feedback. You could write a love letter to your favorite superhero.
I like that.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah, and include the
Yeah.
characteristics. You know, and we could double it up. It could be, you could write a paragraph to your favorite superhero and then a paragraph to your favorite real life hero.
I like
And so if anybody out there wants to write an epic love letter and submit it, epiclove@pipersangels.org. And we want to give a shout out to everybody listening out there and tuning in. We thank you so much. We're working really hard as a team here, the Epic Love team, to bring an inspirational message to the world. Share these stories of people who are out there, taking love through action and understanding that the way we get this done, folks, is to promote the positive. So if you're seeing the wrong stuff, you're paying attention to the wrong things. Shift your perspective. Shift your awareness. It's deemed necessary by Thor himself that it's time for the world to shift. So look for the epic love around you. Find it and share it. And thank you for tuning in.
Perfect.
Good flow.
Couple more minutes.
Spread the love all over the world. That was awesome.
Cool, dude.
Good job, Piper.
Good job, Piper.
Yeah. You were the star, for sure.
High five.
It's funny, he's like, somebody's voice changed.
I know.
Yeah.
It was great.
Travis, you get kicks somewhere?
Sound like Mickey Mouse.
Oh, your dad's FaceTime.
And he's been texting me the whole time.
You're dead.
I had to lay down the
He
wall.
couldn't stand not being here.
I had to lay down the wall with my mom about that. Like, do not text me. Do not communicate with me when we're on the air.
Drop the comments on the show page or
Exactly.
on the video.
So you want to talk to me? Talk to me too.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello? I don't know why I cannot hear him. Anyways, that was good. We need a pic.
Yep.
We all get
Photo time.
I gotta pee.
You want to say,
It's like, I'm sorry, I gotta go.
good night to everybody?
Good night, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Peace.
Thanks
We
for
love
coming
you.
on. Bye-bye.
Epic love.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.